Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Comic Book Roundup. We've covered most of this week's books, and now it's on to the home stretch with our last batch. Kicking things off, we've got Justice League number 73. Where we left off, the one of the ancient Chaos Lord Xanadoth had taken over the body of Black Adam and was, well, wreaking havoc. And had gone after Zatanna and Madame Xanadu. We open up showing the when the Lords of Order and Chaos came together to stop Xanadoth in Mesopotamia. Apparently, Xanadoth was embarrassed by this and by the fact of the Lords of Chaos banding together with the Lords of Order to take him down. In the present, Madame Xanadu and Zatanna are trying to deal with Xanadoth possessed Black Adam, and it's not really going well. The fight continues, and Xanadoth explains that there's a connection between her and Madame Xanadu. And then Fate and the Demon show up, though Xanadoth takes the helm of Naboo and Madame Xanadu and leaves just before the Justice League as the Justice League is arriving. The League is told the tale of Naboo and the Lords of Order taking on stopping Xanadoth previously, and it's made clear it was pretty much luck. Naomi is shocked to discover that magic is real and that it affects Superman. But and that the Hall of Justice has a basement. And so Naboo is summoned. He's not happy about it. And Naboo basically says that, yeah, I could barely stop Xanadoth previously. Probably if I can't do it, then it probably can't be done. Hinting that perhaps this is the Great Darkness. However, Naboo sees Naomi and asks who and what she is before vanishing and taking Naomi with him. Naomi comes to in a white space. Xanadu, meanwhile, comes to in a dark place, wanting to explain and tries to explain their connection to Xanadu. Xanadoth tries to explain the connection to Xanadu, and that is where the issue ends. Very interesting. I'm not sure if the events that this current arc is going to culminate with Justice League 75 or the next issue, number 74. But 75 has already been kind of hyped as leading to the death of the Justice League, so we'll see. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we got Justice League Incarnate, number 5. Where we'd left off, the Great Darkness had taken form on Earth 7, and the Gentry, it was revealed that the Gentry were building a machine for the Great Darkness. But Darkseid attacked the Great Darkness, and his initial attack didn't really do much. Also, the various members of Justice Incarnate had been taken over by the Great Darkness as well as quite a bit of the Hordes of Apocalypse. So we start with a flashback, some flashbacks to Darkseid's life, showing him as a child in the arms of his mother, and the death of his mother, and the words of condolence that he received from Granny Goodness. Apparently, Darkseid basically an older Darkseid went back in time to when he was a child and killed his mother. Everything was present when she died. But Flash and Dr. Multiverse are able to sync their speed and vibrations to basically unpossess the members of the possessors of Justice Incarnate, as well as Pack Commander of the Dog Cavalry of New Genesis, and also a very good boy, Sturmer. But the fight continues. The fight goes from being physical to verbal between Darkseid and the Great Dark and the Darkness. And the Darkness the hand of the Great Darkness goads Darkseid to follow him into a portal, and Darkseid does. And he's told that Darkseid is informed that he is the other hand of darkness, the Fist. Grail comes before Orion, and Orion suggests that she take the leadership of the forces of Apocalypse, but Grail laughs and says that's not a burden that falls on her shoulders, as Calabac has been fairly injured by the forces of the Great Darkness. By rule of succession, Orion is next in line. Grail declares him their new Lord of the Hordes of Apocalypse, and the parademons kneel and chant Orion is. Thunder realized the only way to destroy the machine is to destroy the planet, but before doing so, it suggested that Dr. Multiverse and Flash suggest they try and save Barry. So they go into the President Superman, Flash, Captain Carrot, and Dr. Multiverse go into the portal, They end up in an idyllic suburb. They're found by a young Wallace West, who takes them to see his Uncle Barry, who's mowing the lawn. Doesn't recognize any of them. And he's happy there. They try to tell him he's been brainwashed and, you know, he's come with them, but yeah, he's not having it. And then Pariah arrives. Pariah is a character who generally would only show up when just before a major crisis. Upon his arrival, Dr. Multiverse states that they have to leave immediately. But on Earth 7, Thunder calls upon the World Storm as the machine is getting out of control. Says goodbye to his Earth, and yeah, Earth 7 is destroyed. And just the Incarnate is floating outside the remains of but they're part of the House of Heroes, and yeah. But then Dr. Multiverse explains who Pariah is, saying that he was like the voice of the great darkness, vastly more powerful than Darkseid or the Empty Hand. No reasoning with him. Dr. Multiverse saw not only him, but also what he was building. An army unlike anyone has ever seen. Darkness is spreading across the bleed. Nothing can stop it now. And we learned that, yes, Pariah has been building an army. And among those in his army, Eclipso, Necron, what looks to be Doomsday, and a few others that I can't really suss out, and Darkseid. And that is where the series ends, with the ominous statement of "to be continued" in Justice League number 75, the death of the Justice League. I really enjoy Justice League Incarnate, and I really am hoping we get to see more of the various characters. The upcoming event, Dark Crisis, should make for an interesting read, at least for a while, I would think. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got War for Earth 3, number 1. So, War for Earth 3 is a 5-part, 4-week-long crossover between Suicide Squad, The Flash, and Titans Academy, or Teen Titans Academy, as with the two issues of War for Earth 3 as bookends. So, the basic thing is that Amanda Waller means to take over Earth 3. She's put together a Suicide Squad specifically to do just that. However, Rick Flag has made a counter squad to try and stop her. Of course, Waller, having a bit more in the way of resources, well, she manages to make it very hard for Flag to stop her. And so, we begin on Earth 3 with a memorial to Johnny Quick. But Ultraman uses heat vision and destroys those present. And in downtown Earth 3, Waller and her squad arrive. Apparently her Suicide Squad has been recruited from throughout the multiverse. Leading her squad is none other than Match, an evil clone of Connor Kent Superboy. And he can be made into a Bizarro. But she has a Brainiac who appears who is bonded to Etrigan, calling itself Brainiac 666. But the squad does what the squad does. From the Crown Syndicate's watchtower, Ultraman's looking, viewing what's happening on Earth. Power Rings, wondering who one of Metropolis is, but and asks if Ultraman has his eyes on it, but apparently his eyes are on Gotham. The Owl Cave, where Superwoman is enjoying some downtime with Owlman. Which pisses off Ultraman to no end. And while Power Ring suggests that Ultraman deal with this Waller woman, Ultraman suggests that tells Power Ring to deal with it. He's busy. But with that said, Waller's not impressed by Power Ring. After all, she's got a means of stopping him. Black Hand. In the Owl Cave, Owlman and Superwoman have finished up and are getting dressed again when Ultraman crashes in, destroys the Owlmobile, but communications have been hacked by Waller. So even though his Owlmobile has been taken down, he does have other owl-themed vehicles. But Black Siren tries to take down the jet and actually does do some damage to it. But Match punches the jet out of the way from crashing into Black Siren. And Owlman has ended up right in front of Waller, who says that Match would be a lot scarier if he didn't talk. Something that Waller agrees on. Waller once again contacts the Owl Cave and basically makes it clear she intends to threaten that her harming Owlman is definitely on her to-do list, which definitely does not make Superwoman happy. It's funny that Waller doesn't get hurt because Owlman's hers, which doesn't sit well with Ultraman either. Back on Earth Zero, Rick Flag's squad is dealing with the Clayface monster. And it's not going well because, Clayface. But they are. But back on Earth 3, Superwoman deals with Match. and Waller talks to Ultraman. She doesn't want to depose him. So she has a proposition for him. Mutually beneficial. And apparently she's been avoiding hits from Ultraman thanks to Johnny Quick running her around. But Ultraman is a little concerned about this because Johnny Quick's been dead. Back on Earth Zero, Flag Squad manages to stop the Clayface monster. Before heading over to Earth 3. And Waller explains that gives Ultraman her proposition. Basically, she doesn't think he wants to rule the world. Not really. He wants respect. He wants respect and the spoils of war. But policy, law enforcement, governing's beneath him. But what she doesn't want she doesn't want to take his power. What she does want is his headaches, his frustrations and distractions. And she tells him that this will always be his world. So she suggests he be a king rather than a god, or be a god rather than a king. And she has, as a favor, she has Talon break Owlman's back. Getting rid of one of his headaches and frustrations. On Earth Zero, Flag Squad regroups and makes her way to Earth 3, where Waller's got Power Ring, Ultraman, Black Hand, Match, and Talon all on her side. Which brings us to our next book, Suicide Squad, number 13. So we begin with the squad on the run on Earth 3, Flag Squad on the run. They're in a drugstore, bandaging themselves up, and the proprietor's not happy. But immediately upon arriving, Flag Squad pretty much had to retreat. And Ambush Bug took part of the squad to a dueling piano bar. But yeah, it's not looking. Things aren't looking well for aren't going well for Flag Squad. But among the members of Flag Squad is Nocterra, Match's girlfriend. But she manages to get him back to how he's supposed to be. We find out that, and later in Gotham City, Talon explains that he didn't kill Owlman, but he did break his back. And but one of the members of the Flag Squad, Culebra, manages to get into Owlman's mind, saying he's a dumbass, and yeah, he's also a paranoid and vindictive dumbass. Meanwhile, Ambushbug has teleported himself and Peacemaker to the Antarctic, to Ultraman's Fortress of Solitude. When Ultra Woman shows up, they were looking for a weapon though, the Phantom projector. And, well, Superwoman wants to help them. But, before the three of them can leave, Johnny Quick runs in, grabs the Phantom projector, and Black Siren unleashes a sonic scream which seemingly destroys the fortress. And that is where the issue ends. Okay, so this is so far kind of a very interesting story. Now, fairly this is seeming to fall kind of in the lines of setting up the events shown in the various Future State miniseries from early last year. For those who may not recall, the Future State Suicide Squad miniseries featured basically a Justice League running as the Heroes of Earth 3, but they were actually a Suicide Squad, and Connor Kent was their Superman. Talon was Batman, so on and so forth. So yeah, it seems like they're potentially setting that up. But seeing as how Fear State ended with the Magistrate being pretty much, a flop, I wouldn't expect it to end with Waller ending up in charge of Earth 3. But we'll see. Anyway, next up we've got One Star Squadron number 4. Where we left off, Red Tornado went to meet with the board, and the board told him they were selling the company, and he needed to fire half the employees. And he should definitely start with Power Girl. So, Red Tornado's having to deal with this, and he tells his family he tells his wife what he's got to do. And they've given him apparently the company gave him a stack of cash to give to all those he lays off. But Red's trying to figure out what to do. Power Girl figures she's about to get top spot. But basically, company meeting. The initial thought is it's going to be a copies for closers speech, but he explains that the board wants them to lay off half the employees. Power Girl then calls the board and is fired. But all the employees try to show up to suck up to Red Tornado so they don't get fired. And Red Tornado does give his copies for closure speech, saying that he's not going to fire any of them. And Black Condor is telling him that he's always welcome in Black Condor's nest, and but Minuteman wants to talk to him with but apparently he got a 4-star review, and he's got an easy security gig for him. He wants that he. But Minuteman decides to quit chasing a dream. He's going to do office work. And so he's showing all the various things that they're supposed to do as part of the office work. And Red Tornado goes to the board. See the board again, and Gangbuster in the apartment he's staying in is scared of some trick-or-treaters, flashbacks and whatnot, which leads to him getting into a fight with some of the locals and running off. Power Girl is figuring out what she's going to do. Red Tornado tells the board he wasn't going to lay off anybody. He's not the person that they want him to be, and he's kind of glad, actually. But the board doesn't care because they sold the company, so Red's someone else's problem. And the company that they sold it to was the same company that gave Minuteman a 4-star rating. One of the board members explains that it was either sell the company or burn the building down collecting for the insurance. But Red goes back to the building only to find it on fire, and that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to our last book for the week, Nocterra, number 8. Where we left off, the human shades were acting a bit stranger than normal. We open with someone running to one of the outposts, knocking on the door. When he's let in, it's explained to him that the place they're at used to be called Fort Whip back in the Old West. Had an awful reputation, corruption, cruelty, mass killings. So they wanted to turn it into something safe. But it's they're right on top of an underground river. Well runs right down to it. No shades come near the place because the white on the outside is reflective road paint, which is full of glass powder. However, this person that they've let in is in fact Blacktop Bill. And he actually kind of like hearing about where the place used to be. Well, he likes that version much better. Got the hubcap radio mast. Val is planning to interrogate find and then interrogate Blacktop Bill about trying to find the location of EOS. Um, but she's shown some locations that were, some bases that were taken down, some hubs that were taken down. Some of them it was shade ambushes. Called in, attacks reported, but but there's 4 that were taken out. Everything was fine, and then just nothing. And Val figures out that it's Bill. But it turns out that Bill wanted to use the hydroelectric to power a helmet, which allows him to talk to the basically Shade God. He gets a look at the plan, and some of the shades show up, but Sundog convoy shows up and, well, saves him. But Bill's given a choice: tell Val everything he knows about Eos, or he can scream in pain. But so not only will he tell him everything he knows, and so it turns out that the location of Eos is being the notebook with it is being held at the place that made the Nocturnes, those like Bill. Which it turns out there's another Nocturne named William that is likely to be taking over what's left of the Nocturnes. It has been sent to kill Blacktop Bill. But Bill also agrees to work with Sundog Convoy against everyone's protests. Emery realizes, however, that Bill is telling the truth, because he's noticed something that's different about the Shades. They're taking people away they're dragging people away, which is not normal behavior. But that is where the issue ends. And that's to do it for this week's Roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.